That's right, you guys seen the title. You guys know what time it is. Let's go!
Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. My name is Slade. Today is a momentous occasion because we're finally able to install the Airmaxxx suspension on Lionheart. I can't wait to get started, but before I do, I want to give a big thank you to everyone that's been following with this channel. If you found your way to this channel and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a great deal. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. Just hit the subscribe button down below to keep tuned with all the other videos that I'll be posting and to view some of the other installs that I've done to the car here. But today, it's been a long time coming. We're finally able to get to this. It's not a maintenance day anymore. It's a build day. And I'm really happy that we can get this going. Now, this is going to be a complete full series. This isn't just going to be one episode. I'm going to show you guys exactly what it is that I do. You're going to follow with me on every detail that I do for installing in the bags, hooking up the tanks, the compressors, all up under the car, all up throughout the car, in front of the car, behind the car. I'm going to show you guys everything that I do, because if you're interested in doing something like this and you're not sure how to get started, then at least you'll get a better understanding from watching me. Now, everything that I have right here, and I'm going to go through all the parts, I paid just over $2,000 for this. Actually, I think to be exact, $2,018 over the course of a couple of years. So if you really think about it, I started researching this back in 2018, and it cost me $2,018 for all the parts. So I don't know, maybe it's a sign. But before we begin, I just want to mention, in light of all the situations and all the bad news that's happening right now between the coronavirus and all the protests that's happening, and seemingly all the injustice that's happening with people of color, black folks like me, at the hands of the police. It's a bad time right now, but I feel I have to keep doing this because this is the only way that I know I can keep pushing to providing content for you guys and just keep the positive energy going. You guys have seen some of my other videos. You've seen I keep it really positive, high energy, very upbeat, and I appreciate you guys for liking those videos because that gives me the energy to keep going for you guys. So again, with all the chaos that's going on, we just want to try to move past that. Yes, there's a lot of bad things happening. There's a lot of bad people in the world, but there's even more good things. There's even more good people in the world, and we just need to try to focus back on that. So let's get right into this. I'm going to show you guys all the parts that I have, and we'll do all the connections and the fittings, and everything that you guys see right here. I'll post it down in the description so you can do your own research and figure out what it is that you guys need to do your own builds, so you can get Airmaxxx suspension on your car too. And again, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for the notifications, and let's get started. Now, before I show you guys this stuff here, I think as a man, there's two things you need to have. One is a fabulous beard like mine, and the other one is a beautiful tool wall. Take a look at this, guys. Now, I've been putting together this tool wall for the better part of, I would say about a month, less than a month now. And I think if anyone is going to have a great garage, you need to have a good set of tools and a good placement for them. All my power tools here on this side, battery charging station right here, my wrenches and hammers, my rulers all up here. If you think that's really exciting, check this out. Woohoo! Mood lighting. Look at that. That's awesome. So, hope you guys like it.
No.
Now, the rest of my garage looks like crap. It's pretty filthy. But this is just the start of a long journey that I'm going to do for redoing my garage. I'm going to repaint all the walls here, put down rubberized flooring. I just want to make it look nice in here and use this as my feature wall. Enough about that. Let's get to the parts. Everything that you see here was pieced together separately through different companies. A lot of them are universal parts. I wasn't able to get the full kit from some of the popular brands. They're just way too expensive. I paid half, in some cases less than half the price with this kit right here. So this is the complete setup for everything that you're going to need from start to finish, from the bags to the tanks to the compression, even all the digital gauges. We'll start with the actual bags. Now I don't have the struts because I'm running D2 racing struts, and these bags right here are universal bags, and these are a universal conversion kit for bag over coils. I'm going to remove the front struts, take the spring off, and install these front bags, and these will slip right over the top of the shock of the strut, and then screw the top hat back on, and there you go. These here are the rears, and these will replace the rear springs next to the shocks. I'm going to be running 3/8 inch line instead of the 1/4 inch line because this will allow my car to raise up and lower a lot quicker. Got my line cutter. This right here, guys, is highly recommended. You don't want to use scissors when you're cutting the lines because you don't want to take a chance on creating angles or flared edges on your lines. You want them to go straight into the fittings. Getting a line cutter will make a nice even straight cut. Water trap. This will make a connection between the air tank itself and the manifold. Any compressed moisture that's within the tank, before it goes into the manifold, you want it to go to the water trap. And this water trap will have a nipple down at the bottom. You can see it right there. And that spigot will be able to turn. So what I'm going to do is attach a plastic tubing line from this spigot down to underneath my car so that whenever this fills up with condensation, I'll be able to turn the spigot and drain the water out. That way water isn't going out throughout the management system and into the bags. And then on the winter time, it'll start to freeze up and you don't want water sitting up in your bags here. 5-gallon tank. This has 9 ports. There are 2 ports on the sides. You see there's one there and another one over here. These are 3/8. There are 2 1/4 inch ports right at the top with one underneath right there for the air drain. And on the other side are 4 1/4 inch ports. Let's see if I can show you guys better. 4 1/4 inch ports right there. Now to feed the air into the system, I'm using dual compressors. These are the Airmaxxx 580 dual compressors. There's one there on this side. The other one is on the left side. So the one on the right side, one on the left side. This is the management that I'm going to use. And I was knocking around the idea of getting a bunch of solenoids and kind of splicing them together and fitting them together in a way that I can connect to the air management, that I can connect to the air tank. But I figured, let me just get the air management tool. This was a little bit more costly. This is where all the air will feed into. Now in order to control the flow of the air, I'm using this remote right here. So I control the top left, top right, rear left, rear right, up, down, pancake up, pancake down. And I can raise and lower the rear and raise and lower the front and do that independently. And this was cool too because this could light up, and I thought it was a pretty neat little feature. Plus I like the I paid a little extra for this one right here, so I kind of like it. I was just going to go with the standard one, but I decided to go with this one. And I'm not using the remote version or the phone app because even though that is convenient to do to connect through a phone app, I don't want to take a chance on things like the battery dying or I'm losing Bluetooth connection, or all the normal things that you have, all the normal problems that you deal with when dealing with wireless connection. So I'm using this hardwire connection, and this is going to sit in the back of the trunk, and this one is going to sit in my dash, and I'm just going to run the wire right through the through the front all the way down to the back of the trunk. Got the relay wires here to make sure all of the wiring is connected. Got an extra relay right here to actually control the air coming out of the compressors. Normally you would have a pressure sensor, which I can't seem to find right now because these dual compressors came with a pressure sensor, but I'm not going to use a pressure sensor. I'm going to use a manual switch. Now this relay right here has a manual switch. You can see right there, this little button right there. And I'm going to install this on my center console. And this is what I'm going to use to control the power to turn the compressors on and off. That one there and that one there. That way I'll be able to see how much air is going into this, and I won't run the risk of letting this run overnight. I could just flip this switch and turn off the compressors whenever I need to. to monitor the amount of pressure that's actually in the airbags and the tanks themselves, I've got this little digital gauge. This I got from this company, X2 Industries, and they sold the digital pressure gauge separately along with the individual pressure switches. Got 5 pressure switches. Here's just one of them. One of them for each bag, and the 5th one is for the tank. This will be able to display how much pressure is in each bag and will give me the pressure reading of the tank, so I'll know to flip the switch off whenever the tank starts getting too full. This hose that I just happen to have lying around, this is a 1/4 inch hose, and this hose is going to connect underneath the tank, right up under there to that port that I showed you before. Expel all of the air from outside of the car when the tank is not in use. And I'm going to be using these air release fittings right here. So this will be mounted, I think I'm going to mount this outside on the trunk lid, maybe next to my license plate. It'll fit right up in here into this port, and the next port right here will fit underneath the tank. So that way when I'm done, when I park the car, shut it off, I can walk around behind the tank, behind the car, pull this little ring, and just manually let all the air out of the tank. Next, I have the fittings that are going to fit in each of the bags, and all of the pressure switches and the tank. So let's take a look here. I have 4 of these T-fittings. I'm going to find a place to fit them probably somewhere around the vicinity of each bag. So one here, one there, one there. This will connect the line to the fitting, and this port right here is where the digital pressure switch will go, right up in there. Okay. Next, I've got these elbows. I've got 4 of these elbows to fit into each of the bags. All of these are push to connect fittings too. So you can see right there, the hose will just push right in, and this will screw in. And this is threaded, so I can just screw that in. I also got some extra plugs, which you can see right here, because there's going to be some ports of this tank that I'm not going to be able to use, and they're just going to be open ports. So I'm just going to plug up those ports with these pieces right there. Some extra line here to run additional wires in case I need to extend the connections. Let's see, is there anything else that I'm missing? Got this Permatex thread sealant right here. This is going to be very important because this will help ensure a better seal around all of the connections to make sure air doesn't leak out, because you really don't want air leaking out of this thing. You don't want bags just draining, bleeding air while you're driving. That's going to be horrible. Plus it's going to be horrible drain on your battery too, because your compressors will always be running. So instead of using the Teflon tape, I'm going to use this Permatex thread sealant instead, because this is going to provide a much better seal than Teflon tape. Guys, this is my complete kit. I didn't buy everything at once. I did some research, found out which bags I need to get for my coilovers to do the proper conversion. I researched the compressors, found out these are good for what I need them for. Gonna find out I need 2 of them, so I don't have one compressor just running all the time, taking forever filling up the tank. 2 of them will be able to fill the tank up a lot quicker. Everything you see here, I'll put down in the description so you can research it yourself. So what I'm gonna get ready to do right now is get some of this sealant and get all the fittings, and I'm gonna start attaching all the fittings into the tank and into the bags so that we can get started. Don't forget, you guys, if you find any of this information informative, please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. Now, one of the things to do that I find is very helpful is to draw a schematic first on what you need to do. So if you take right here my chicken scratch, this is how my setup is going to be. I don't know if I want it to look exactly like this in the trunk of my car, but essentially this is how everything is going to look. We've got the tank right here, connected with the 2 compressors. Airflow is coming out through here into each of the plugs. Here's the hose that's going outside of the car, so I can and there's that little ring I told you about, so I could pull that ring and manually empty out all the air out the tank. Here's the manifold that's going to connect to the tank and the ports that are going out to each bag. And right here in between the manifold and the tank is a diagram that I drew of how the water trap is going to be set up. So you've got the tank going into the water trap and the water trap going out into the manifold right down here. And I marked down each fitting and the correct sizes that I'm going to need to make all of this happen. And I'm going to do the best I can to ensure there are no air leaks. Alright, so now that I got all the explanation out the way, let's get to work. This looks like it already has some threat sealant on it, but it's probably just white paint. When this dries, this is going to dry and then seal up everything. And I'm going to make sure that these ports are facing outward, because I want it to, don't want the line to get tangled in with the bag and the strut. That's one. Second one. So now the front ones are done. This stuff is a little messy, but that's okay. Once it dries up, it'll be like rubber. Now the rear bags are going to be a little different because I may need to use some brackets, and what I think I'm going to try to do is use the spring mount that came with my original coil, that came with my aftermarket coilovers, and see if I can mount these onto the bags and put them in the spring mount position underneath where the rear control arm is. So hopefully I won't need to buy any more brackets. I think that's a good fit. I don't think that's going anywhere. Alright, next I'm going to do the tank. So I'm going to plug up 3 of these 4 holes because I'm not going to need them right now. I got the tank with the 9 ports on it because 5 of them I'm already going to be using. I think maybe 6 of the ports I'm already going to be using. There's going to be 3 extra ones. Now this can be used for a separate air line. So let's say I get a flat tire, I could just plug up the hole out the tire, and then I'll use my tank to reinflate the tire. Oops, I'm gonna need a tool. I'll just continue using this guy. Yeah, this works just as fine. Alright, so I've got 3 of the 1/2-inch holes plugged, so when I need them, I can just unscrew them out and use them as I see fit. Now the last hole in the tank is going to be the 4th 1/4-inch, 1/2-inch line, 1/2-inch NPT port with the push to connect. This is going to be 3/8 inch. Because the reason why this is 3/8 is because the line itself is 3/8, and this will be able to fit right up in there. And this is what's going to go to the water trap, and in turn is going to go into the manifold. Put a little bit of this Permatex on there. Now I'm going to be using this Permatex for every connection that I need to make that air is going to be running through, because I want to make sure there are no air leaks at all. Alright, now let's see what we got. 3 are blocked off, so no air is going to come out of these 3. And the last one, air is only going to come out of this port. That'll go right into the water trap. So let's get the fitting on the water trap. Oh, wait, before I do, I still got more fittings to put on the tank itself. And I'll clean up all of this. Sucks to have a black tank, but luckily it's painted and coated, so I could just wipe off the dried up Permatex. Right now it's dry, so it's kind of turning into rubber, so I can just peel that right off. Next one I'm gonna do is the line that's going to go to the bottom of the tank, and that's going to go outside of the car so I could drain the air out the tank. So I'm just gonna hook this up. I've got more line that I need, but like I said, I just had this 3/8 inch, actually 1/4 inch line. It's kind of laying around. You could get this from Home Depot. Just make sure you have, this one is a 300 PSI. So the tank itself is a 200 PSI, and you want to make sure you don't go above 200 PSI. Otherwise, the specifications of the tank, otherwise you could blow the tank. Come on, don't be difficult. Work with me now. And on the other end goes the release valve, and I got a connector for that. Actually, I don't know if I want to put this on just yet, but what I am going to do is put the other line of the hose onto this, because this is going to be inside the trunk lid, and this is going to be outside the trunk lid. I'm going to sandwich them together. Alright, now on the left side and the right side, this is where the air compressors will go into. I'm not going to put these on yet because I don't need fittings for these. These will just screw right into the sides. I got 30 feet of hose, so I don't know if this is going to be enough. I might need to get more, but I'll check. I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. Next comes the air pressure gauge for the digital monitor, and this one is going to go to the tank, so I'll be able to read the pressure of the tank. Making it really tight because I do not want any air leaking out. Once I get all the fittings done, I have to do a bench test just to make sure it's going to hold the air. This line is going to go to here. Let me check my schematics again. 1/4 inch plug. Okay, I knew I needed this for a reason, and I believe I do have an Allen key for this because there's an extra port here that I'm not going to be using, but I may need it later on. You know, I might be putting on way too much Permatex. I probably need a lot less than what I'm putting on. That's probably why I'm making such a mess. I'll figure out when we'll put these T-fittings on later on. I'm not going to do them right now because I need to do this after I put the bags onto the struts, and that way that'll let me know what's the best place for those T-fittings and these sensors. I think I am going to put them as close. At first I was going to put them close to the manifold and hook up the sensors close to the manifold, but I don't know if it's going to make a difference or if it's going to change the pressure readings when I run the lines underneath the car and getting it close to the manifold. I don't know, maybe it'll read the pressure readings that are closest to the line instead of the bags, and I need them as close to the bags as much as possible because I want the readings to come from the bags so I know how much pressure is in each bag, not the line. I don't know math. I don't know if it's gonna add up, but we'll play it by ear. And I think just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna put these fittings as close to the bag as possible. And there's my water trap fittings. Alright guys, so I'm gonna stop this video for today. This is step one, getting all of the fittings onto all of the parts. The next step is going to be installing in the bags. Actually, I'm going to work on the front struts first. I'm going to remove the struts off of Lionheart and bring them into my workshop and connect the bags onto them. So I'll show you guys that in the next video. Once again, please like and subscribe to this video. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Remember, like I always say, be true to yourself and be true to others, man. Today's a tough time right now, so let's be true to ourselves. Let's show everyone our best sides, okay? So we can get through this crisis together. Be true to yourself, love what you do what you love, and I'll catch you in the next one. Always moving on. Feel I don't believe